physical body and let your biological age look a little older. Now, your functional age or health status assesses the functioning at the level of the whole person, describing how that person can function in a daily life. So that is what we mean by aging. So we're looking at your functional age is your ability to function. So if you're 20 and you're able to function because you might have a biological look, looking like 60, acting like 60, even though your chronological age is 20. So we are just dissecting that so we know when we say aging, that is what we're talking about. And so we're looking today at your chronological age, and maybe we'll look at the others as we go along. Now, the population, according to World Health Organization, is aging rapidly. And between 2015 to 2050, the proportion of the world's population over 60 years will nearly double. Nearly from 12%, they say, to 22%. Now, mental health and well-being are as important in older age as at any other time of life. So approximately about 15% of adults aged 60 and over will suffer from a mental disorder. Now, let us do an overview. The mental and physical health issues of older persons are sometimes under-identified by healthcare professionals. And the stigma surrounding, I'm hearing music, all right, and the stigma surrounding some of these conditions make the elderly feel a little reluctant at times to seek help. So there are multiple factors for mental health problems, and at some point, the older person may experience some stress common to all people, but stresses that are more common in later life, like the ongoing loss in capacities and decline in their function ability. So for example, older adults may experience reduced mobility, chronic pain, frailty, or other health problems for which they require some form of long-term care. In addition, older persons are more likely to experience events as bereavement or a drop in the socioeconomic status with retirement. All these stressors can result in isolation, loneliness, psychological distress, and so we are going to be looking at them based on this presentation. So we will first look at the physical health challenges of the elderly, then we'll look at the factors to consider before and during retirement. Then we look at the mental health and we'll focus on depression in the elderly, then the professional intervention or treatment, the recreational activities, support system, and nutritional needs. Now let us look at the physical health, and we're just going to look at a few because common conditions in older people sometimes include the hearing loss, the cataracts over the eye, the bad and neck pain, and the osteoporosis, the chronic pulmonary disease, the diabetes, the depression, dementia. As people age, they're more likely to experience several conditions at the same time. And there are other conditions that we have not mentioned here that older persons will definitely experience. Now, the elderly will have been exposed over the years, because if you live for 60 years or so, you will definitely be exposed to sugar. You'll be in some sweet drink, like you're mixing lemonade, you're mixing drink, you put in sugar. And so therefore, the longer than other generations, you'll have more sugar in your system. And so your chance of developing hyperglycemia, which is abnormally high blood glucose level, is more than that of the young. And ultimately type 2 diabetes. So seniors of different races are also more often likely to develop diabetes than others. And note that younger adults' eating habits can lead to a higher risk of diabetes. And so we're going to look at diabetes as it relates to persons who are older. And the symptoms as we talk about type 2, it includes feeling tired, you have increased hunger or thirst, you just want something to drink, you lose weight without even trying, and you have frequent urination or incontinence where you're unable to hold your urine, so you spill on yourself sometimes. Or you have trouble with blurred vision, or you may also get skin infections or heal slowly from cuts and bruises. And so these are effects that would actually show up when persons have diabetes. And if you don't know and you see these things happening, then you know that you must check with your medical professionals, because it simply means that something is happening that needs some kind of medical attention. Now, how can you control diabetes if you're so diagnosed? You use the aerobic exercise such as walking, swimming, and bicycling, and that can help you to control your glucose level. Now, I am not here to speak on diabetes as if I'm a medical person. I'm just here to tell you the symptoms that you're to look for, should in case you're having these symptoms and you do not pay attention to them, that you should see your medical professional. If your medical profession says that you have these, you are diagnosed with diabetes, then you realize that you have to do something to keep it under control. And so we are looking at the exercise, the walking, the swimming, the bicycling, and that will help you control your glucose level. And we'll talk more about exercise as we at the end of this presentation. Another challenge that the elderly has is the osteoporosis. And this is a progressive condition that leads to more fragile bones as you get older. So the fragile bones are more likely to break easily, and bones in your wrist, your hip, and spine are particularly vulnerable. Bone is a living tissue, and new bone replaces old bone throughout life. I don't know how that one goes, but broken bones can lead to serious problems for seniors. And the hip is a common site for osteoporosis, and hip fractures can lead to a downward spiral of disability and loss of independence. And so therefore we need to look out for this particular disease also. High blood pressure is another thing that older persons, or before you even get old, persons actually complain about. You can lead to serious health problems, and it can give you stroke, heart disease, eye problems, kidney failure, in addition to shortness of breath during light physical activity. And some persons say they are lightheadedness, they just feel like, you know, their head is not on their body and they're not standing or they're not falling. And normally it is said when your blood pressure is over 130/80, then you need to see your practitioner, medical practitioner. Dementia is also another physical medical challenge that we need to look out for. And it is not a specific disease, but is rather a general term for the impaired ability to remember things, to think straight, to make decisions that are important, and it also interferes with your everyday activities. And it is important to know that Alzheimer's disease is the most common type of dementia. So both of them actually work together. And though dementia mostly affects older adults, it is not a part of the normal aging. You'll find other persons in other age group at times having lost memory and they're unable to think and to make decisions. And so they need to check with their mental profession to find out exactly what is happening. Now let us look at the early symptoms of dementia. And if you're having any of this, then you realize it is time for us to see our medical or mental person. Memory loss. If you're having it for too long, that it's just difficult for you to remember what is happening around. You're driving, you're turning into different directions, you have to park, and somebody has to help you, and then sometimes you just don't know where you are, then you know that something is wrong. Difficulty concentrating, your thoughts are just going all over, and you're trying to think on one. For example, you're concentrating on the glass, but when you look, you know, your thought is just all over the place, and then sometimes you're blank. You're not concentrating the way that you would want to concentrate on a particular thing. Then you know that you need to see your mental. Finding it hard to carry out familiar daily tasks such as getting confused